Welcome to Parkiet TV studio on the sidelines of second 3C Stock Exchange conference in Warsaw. My guest today is Petr Koblic, who is the CEO of Prague Stock Exchange, member of the board of the Wiener Börse, and the president of FESE, which is the Federation of European Stock Exchanges. Petr, welcome to our show.
Good morning.
When we spoke 2 years ago, it was during the Economic Forum in Krynica. Stock exchanges globally were facing a wave of delistings, drying up of IPOs, and a falling turnover. But apparently, COVID-19 pandemic changed a little bit of these trends. It has reversed part of these forces. Could you explain what do you think will be the long-lasting consequences of COVID on the Prague Stock Exchange?
Well, it's an interesting question. I would probably split it on two topics. First of all, there is definitely impact on the Prague Stock Exchange as a company. We went completely digital. We have been, let's say, very good in home offices. We basically can operate the exchange remotely, but COVID proved that we can really do it for a long time. So it's changed the company itself, but that's probably the fate of most of the companies in Europe and in the developed world. From the market point of view, of course, we saw higher volumes, higher volatility in the beginning of the COVID period, and then maybe the volumes fell down a bit, which is an interesting development, and we still have to see what's going to happen later on. From the side of the issuers, we think we can see a wave of more companies looking for listing on the markets. That's for sure. Either it's going to be in Prague or in some other places, but I would say need for capital is on the market, is there. So we hope it's going to have some long-term effect that more companies will seek the capital.
Before we go into more detail on this, on the let's say supply side of the stock market, let me ask you about the demand side. Have you experienced an increase in retail investors' activity? This is a phenomenon which was seen worldwide, actually, that there are more and more retail investors willing to invest on the stock markets.
Yeah, on the stock exchanges, I would say. Yes, we do see it. It's not a wave which we would say it's double or triple, but we see it. It was also linked to one specific event in Czech Republic. We had a very good listing on our junior market, but the listing of the e-commerce company, which is specialized in the health sector, which was actually perfect timing during the COVID time to have e-commerce and health sector. And that really raised the interest of many people in the market. There were literally queues in front of the brokers, of the people willing to open the accounts. So yes, we see this interest. It's sometimes linked to the specific new issues.
Well, it's also about the technological progress. It became easier for retail investors to invest, easier and maybe cheaper. But at the same time, this also enables investors to look for the stocks globally. Actually, retail investors can invest wherever they want these days. So I wonder, do you feel the pressure, like a kind of a competition with other stock markets globally?
Obviously, I would say most of the investors in our area, they invest primarily domestic market and US. US is big, interesting market. It is the market where huge technology companies are listed, and that's it's like a candy. Everybody's looking at it, everybody wants it. Yeah. So obviously this is the competition. If there is a cross-border trading within Europe, probably to the less extent that I would love to see, actually. But there is, of course, as well. We understand that diversification, clients have to be diversified in a portfolio. It would be foolish from us, to think that all the clients or the Czech investors would have only Czech stocks. So I think it's very good that they are investing in equities. That's first of all. And then that they have a diversified portfolio of the domestic and foreign stocks is actually good for them.
Are you doing something to sweeten your offer for those retail investors? I don't know, are you introducing new products that could be possibly interesting for retail investors? Let's say the cryptocurrencies, which is a growing fashion among retail investors.
Yeah, the crypto world is definitely something which is growing. I'm not quite sure if it's always a positive growth, but we see that we are definitely waiting for some framework, of the European Union, which will cover the cryptocurrencies trading. It's unclear in the moment, what you can do, how you can do it, and we definitely do not want to misguide investors. We have been opening some new features on our new market for the start market for the small investors and for small and medium companies, which attract a lot of the interest. And then I would say it's rather in the hand of the brokers. They should improve their services and they should improve their offering through the new technology, through more competitive fees, and we are very much advocating for that.
Okay, you have mentioned the IPO of e-commerce health company. What about other IPOs? How many IPOs did you have over the last year?
Yeah, well, there haven't been huge numbers. Basically, we have a handful of companies getting listed. It's definitely much less that we would love to see. But I would, for example, mention also the world well-known company CZ Group, which is probably says nothing to you, but it's a gun producer. Basically, it's a special machinery, we call it, but they are producing guns, and they just been able, with the help of the capital market, with the funds from the capital market, they have been able to acquire Colt, which is the famous United States company for firearms. Mm-hmm. So there are some good stories around which we love to bring to the market.
All right. We are speaking on the sidelines of the second 3C Stock Exchange conference. So the natural question is about the scope for cooperation between stock markets of our region. Where do you see such opportunities? And are they being sized up?
Yeah, I would say the specific piece of cooperation where we are cooperating on something very concrete, which have a commercial effect, is of course creating a regional index. It is hard work. It's not hard work to create the index, hard work to sell the index to somebody, because to create the index is one thing, but that it's used is another thing. Of course, the few companies which have their indices on the market for decades, are in the much better position, especially towards the international investors. But this is one of the specific topics what we do. Otherwise, there are some, but it's rather from our side. We provide the technology for 3 exchanges from the region, or actually 4 exchanges from the region. So there are some cooperation on the technology side, but they are very specific to the offering individual exchanges have. But I would say what is very important is actually a common lobbying effort, which we should use much more within the European Union. There is a great example in the moment where we, together with, or actually 13 Central European exchanges together, which is Baltics, Poland, Czech Republic, Slovakia, Hungary, Austria, Croatia, Slovenia, Romania, Bulgaria, and Greece. We're putting together a letter which we co-signed to the members of European Parliament, where we warned them that prepared consolidated tape, which is the project run by European Commission, could be very dangerous for smaller markets. So these kind of coordinated efforts, which are, let's say, within the efforts of the FESA, of the Federation of European Stock Exchanges, but very specific for this part of Europe, for these 13 ecosystems, capital markets, is something which we should use much more often, and I think that's going to be the topic of the discussion today.
Okay, well, Prague Stock Exchange is a part of a Wiener Börse, and some other local markets, namely Budapest and Ljubljana, which used to be in the group, have been sold. And does it mean that although there is scope for cooperation between stock exchanges in the region, there is no scope for consolidation? I mean, cooperation, yes, but no mergers.
Look, one should understand what is this merger of the stock exchange. Look at Euronext. They have been together, I mean, Paris, Amsterdam, and Brussels at least. Lisbon came later. But those guys have been together, if you want, almost 20 years. Did they really merge? Not really. They are still running individual markets. The European legislation is simply not prepared for real merger of the exchange. They have the single currency, they have clearing same, they have settlement same, they also show the language partly, but they're still running the individual markets under individual license. So what they can merge was marketing, definitely technology. That's very profitable. Clearing. That's clear thing. Clearing, international sales. So those things what you can do together. But then the things which are specific to the local market, specific to the local listings, local trading, unfortunately, you have to do locally because we are far away from being United States of Europe. You know, we don't have single accounting, for example. We don't have single bankruptcy law. We don't have single securities law in Europe. There's different securities law in Poland and Czech Republic. You cannot merge those two markets effectively into one company, even if you would like to. The same thing between Prague and Vienna. You know, we don't even attempt any kind of merge. So we merge everything which is possible to merge. Sales of the data, technology, marketing, and partly management, but we are running these two companies as individual companies. So this is the recent situation, and I would love to see more unification in the specific areas. Every time I'm speaking in the European Union, and I hear something about merger and capital market union, some people in the European Union forget the S. It's capital markets union, but some love to forget this S. I'm saying them, it cannot be one market because before that, for example, accounting, you should merge accounting. You should do EU GAAP. Yeah. I don't know why you didn't do it for 70 years so far. Bankruptcy law specifically and securities law, and to a certain extent commercial law, would have to come much closer in order to develop something which would be above national markets.
Thank you very much, Petr. It was a pleasure to speak to you. My guest was Petr Koblic, who is the CEO of the Prague Stock Exchange and also the member of the board of the Wiener Börse. Thank you very much.
Thank you.